Yes, this is Legal Matters. We are back again today. You can watch us live from Fire Life Radio, Justice and Law, and David Darkon's Facebook page. We are bringing you live Legal Matters. A lot has happened this week. And in life, they say it's important to learn from the counsels of the wise than to be educated by a fool. So learning has got no ending. All the time we have to do the best that we can. Learn as much as we can. Because knowledge is powerful. So today what are we doing? We're going to be looking at updates on UK immigration and nationality law. There has been a new announcement by the Home Office in relation to the possibility of those who are already in this country to apply for leave to remain. And in some cases, that could lead to citizenship. I touched on it briefly last week, but I will do the best that I can to explain again with the hope that we will get a better understanding of the legal position. Because I have received a lot of telephone calls. A lot of people have come to the conclusion that it is a form of an amnesty. And in life, it's a form of an amnesty. So you'll be looking at that and offer an explanation as to exactly what it is. Also, we'll be looking at twins born in this country facing deportation to Dominican Republic, and to Grenada. We'll be looking at that. We will also be looking at the story of Bonnie Thomas, the Glasgow-born singer, given 2 weeks to leave the United Kingdom. And also we'll be looking at Home Office policy of giving people 72 hours to leave the United Kingdom and the unlawful nature of that policy. But the main topic today is to look at something called lasting power of attorney. Lasting power of attorney. That is what we're going to be looking at. And the importance of making lasting power of attorney. Many a times, we all feel healthy and we also believe that nothing bad will happen to us. You see, life is so unpredicted. Today you are well, tomorrow you may not be so well. You might not be able to make decisions for yourself. And when it happens like that, it is left with others to make decisions for you. And sometimes someone may be entrusted to make decisions for you, but you may not trust the person. But since you do not have lasting power of attorney in place, the person will simply end up making decisions for you. And the decision may not be in your interest or best interest. But yet, since not by choice, someone has put himself forward to be, for example, next of kin, or to be a family member, or to be a friend, whom society, rightly so, may assume that the person may have good intent for you to take care of your affairs. That person will actually end up making bad decisions for you. And therefore, power or lasting power of attorney, it is not anything but it's a matter of choice. You get to choose who makes decisions for you when you are at your vulnerable stage, when you are not in a position to make decisions for yourself. And I have been inspired this week by two scenarios or two cases that really pushed me to talk about this area of law today. Because as I was speaking to the person's partner, I said, lawyer, I did not know this. Lawyer, we did not know this. You know, and I wasn't too surprised. And I'm not surprised that a lot of us may not be aware of this tool, which I believe we could use effectively. So that is the reason why the background music by Yal Sapon and Asumafo or Sidia Onene Kwa Onene Bano or Nona Inyawa Obeyo. So in life, for me, it's important that you put things in place before something happens. If nothing happens, great. But in an event that something happens to you, you are not able to make decisions for yourself, then of course, what's going to happen is, it's a matter of choice. You would have been able to select someone to make those decisions for you at your vulnerable stage. So we're going to be looking at that lasting power of attorneys. But crucially, we will also be looking at divorce and the distribution of matrimonial property or matrimonial assets. This is where people get so greedy that they will be prepared to kill for property. They'll be prepared to do anything just to gain the world. But one thing that people forget is this: naked we came, naked we will go. Regardless that one day we are all going to die. And if you are religious, after death, there is judgment. If you are not religious, once you're dead, you are dead. That's it. End of a chapter. And the reality is this: you need to ask yourself, what measures can you put place to avoid disputes? What measures can you put place to avoid litigation and court actions? We'll be looking at all this. Last week I did mention that Ghana, the leading case is called the case of Mensah and Mensah. And today I will take my time to go through the case law and the fact of the case. And you can make judgment for yourself. When it comes to properties, some people will stoop so low, they will go to any level, including telling lies, including getting false witnesses, including manipulation, and in some cases, including taking another man's life, so as to be able to gain property and gain the world. Like the Bible says, Bob Marley also says so. Don't gain the world and lose your soul. because wisdom is better than silver and gold. Today we'll be looking at this because people have made mistakes. Like I said, we have to learn from the counsels of the wise than to be praised by a fool. So we thank you very much for tuning in today, and we always appreciate your time. I would also ask that we take this opportunity to share the program to all our loved ones so that they can also tune in and benefit from today's program. Every program that we do here, we do these programs in order to educate ourselves, in order to educate the masses. Because at the end of the day, all our struggles, we keep working hard 24/7. We build up properties with the hope that after we have passed on, it will go to certain people. And we don't put these measures in place. What's going to happen is that it's going to go to the wrong people. Some people that we never even want them near us at our vulnerable stage. They will be around us calling the shots. Some people that we may not even want them around us when we are incapable of making decisions ourselves. Those people will end up making decisions for you. How do you avoid this? The answer is lasting power of attorney. So let's start with immigration update. This week, there has been so many speculation, so many messages through WhatsApp going around. People have been told that the UK Border Agency, because of the coronavirus, have come up with a new policy that anyone who is in the UK will be able to get papers to stay, and in some cases, apply for British citizenship. Some people are also sending messages around that you must do this by 31st of July. If you don't do it, you will not get the opportunity to do it. And as a result, a lot of people now are calling us. Some people are actually panicking that if they don't put in the application as fast as they can, they could end up losing out. So I thought that it would be an opportunity for me to also perhaps educate our people. Sometimes, you have information being spread about, and if you don't ask and you are not careful, someone will simply take you for a ride. So it's for this reason that I believe it's important that I talk about this today. Yes, it is true, there has been an advice out, general guidelines from the Home Office, and what it says is this: people who have entered the UK or people who have limited leave, you see, they may be able to apply to stay in the UK, which subsequently will lead or may lead to the grant of citizenship or the grant of indefinite leave to remain. When you look at the headline, that is exactly what it says. And it has given an indication that you can apply under the family route. That is family, private and family life route. It sounds all good because you look at it and you say to yourself, I'm living in the UK, and if I can apply under the family and private life route, why should I not make such an application? Because of that, we have been inundated with text messages and also telephone calls. People wanting to find out whether this is a very good opportunity for them to regularize their stay. Whilst it may suggest that you could apply, it also goes on to say that you could apply, however, you have to be able to satisfy the immigration rules. You have to be able to satisfy the immigration rules. This is what they don't tell you. This is what they don't point out to you. You see, so when you look at the immigration rules too, under paragraph 276ADE of the immigration rules, it comes with requirements. And in most cases, these requirements are very, very difficult to satisfy. So, I'm going to use one area as an example. And then you need to ask yourself, despite this announcement, will you qualify under the immigration rules? Will you qualify under the immigration rules? This is a question that we all have to ask ourselves. So, let's take the visitor's route as an example. Maybe your name is Mr. Owusu Echan. You've come from Ghana on a holiday visa to the UK. You came in on 30th of March. As an example, your aim is to spend 1 month in the UK and go back by 30th of April. Because of the coronavirus, because of the COVID-19, as we all know, you were unable to go due to coronavirus pandemic. Home Office have already made a policy that since you were unable to go, your visa, even if it is expiring, could be extended up to 31st of July 2020. At the same time, this policy also suggests that you may be able to apply to stay in the UK. This is where the confusion is, and I do get it why people are confused. You see, I do get it why people are confused. Because on one hand, the policy tells you that if you come as a visitor, for example, your visa can be extended up to 31st of July. That is if you are going to go back and you are unable to go due to coronavirus. I get that. Fine. Then the next question is, this policy is also telling you that you might be able to stay in the UK permanently. However, the catch is this. You must be able to satisfy the rules. So the rules itself has not changed. The immigration rules remains the same. And therefore, the announcement that was made, it can only be applicable in a very, very limited circumstances. And I am going to give those example of those limited circumstances, which I believe will help a lot of our people to get a better understanding of the law as it is and the policy that has just recently been announced. So, they say that you might be able to switch to family and private life route. So, example is this. You come in as a visitor. Mr. Osuechang has come in as a visitor. Great. Now you are unable to go. The question therefore is, in the light of this announcement, can you apply to stay in the UK? The policy says you may be able to apply under private and family law life. It comes with its own policies and connotations and conditions. So you come in as a visitor to visit your aunt. As an example, because of the coronavirus, you are unable to go. Fair enough. So now you find yourself in a situation you're unable to go. The big question, therefore, is can you apply to stay in the UK? The answer is yes and no, because it will depend on your circumstances and the relationship that you have with your aunt. The key question here is that if you're over 18 and you claim to have a relationship with a family member in the UK and you want to stay here, the test is very, very, very difficult to be able to satisfy, because you must be able to prove that there is private and family life between you and your aunt, and that private life cannot be exercised outside the UK. So if you're an adult, it's very, very difficult to be able to overcome this threshold or this test. So we need to be very aware of it. When we hear something, we have to be critical. It's very, very important. Because if you're not critical, people will always take you for a ride. People will always take you for a ride. And fear delegates. Fear human. Because people tend to exaggerate. And lying is part of our makeup. So you have to be very, very careful when you hear these stories. As soon as you hear it, get in touch with your lawyers and find out first before you make any move. And I'm very glad that a lot of my clients called me to find out if this is true. After explaining it, they realized that there was no point in calling the so-called telephone number. Someone has sent this everywhere with their telephone number below and asking people to call them for consultation and appointment. The funny thing is, no name, no address, just a telephone number. And I can bet my bottom dollar that the telephone number is going to be pay as you go, so that you cannot trace these crooks. So one ought to exercise caution. One have to be very, very careful when we get these messages. I would suggest that when we get these messages, we must not send it to other people. Let's verify it first, and if it's true, before we send it. Because I believe that, most of us, we also want to help people. And sometimes when people get these messages, they get carried away, they get so happy, they send it around. And before you know, instead of, your motive is to help people, you will end up leading people into the devil's den. So it's important that once we get such messages, check the authenticity first, get the understanding first, before you send it off to your loved ones and your dear ones. It will help you and it will also help them. So, for example, you come in as a visitor and they say that you may be able to extend it so that you can stay here. I've given an example of also a child who came to visit his aunt, and because it will be so difficult to prove private life and family life, and the reasons why he cannot return back and continue the family and private life, it will be so difficult to be able to switch. Secondly, when you look at the immigration rules, because the policy says that you must satisfy the rules. The policy says that, under the rules, you must satisfy the rules. So let's look at the visitor's route under the rules. Under the rules, it says that you must be a genuine visitor to come to the UK. You must be a genuine visitor to come to the UK. And whilst you are in the United Kingdom, you must not undertake any work, and you must not have any intention to seek to extend your visa or to make the UK your home by living in the UK for so long. So basically, if you're in that situation, forget it. Don't even attempt it, because you could end up having bad immigration record if you make such an application and it gets refused. Imagine. And you decide to go back to Ghana. Maybe next year, next 2 years, you want to come back again. As soon as you put the application, they're going to pull the application that you made in the UK back to say that during the coronavirus time, you went to the UK and you decided to stay in the UK, and therefore on that basis, it seems to me that you have intention to stay in the UK, and on that basis, I'm not prepared to grant you a new visa to go to the United Kingdom. So people have to be very, very, very aware. People have to be very, very careful. The reason is that, sometimes you might think that you got a free lunch, but I always say there is no free lunch in the Babylon. It's as simple as that. So we all have to open our eyes and be very, very careful when we get these messages. Someone may ask, under what circumstances can people capitalize on this new announcement and this new policy? Let's take, for example, Kwame Owusu-Echiang. And I say Frank Kwame Owusu. Let's use Frank Kwame Owusu, aka Mr. Peche. Good morning to you wherever you are. Let's use Mr. Frank Kwame Owusu as an example. Mr. Frank Kwame Owusu is living in Ghana, running his business, successful business, when he decided to visit the United Kingdom because he's got a child. The child is British in the United Kingdom. So, he's come to the United Kingdom on 30th of March as usual. His intention was to go back to Ghana on 30th of April. Fantastic. Nothing wrong with that. As soon as he comes in, because of the lockdown, he's unable to go back to Ghana. The business that he left for his brother has squandered the money and has messed up the business. Now, Mr. Frank Kwame Owusu is in the UK stranded. He cannot go to Ghana to try and revive his business. And at the same time, he is living in the United Kingdom. He is not able to work because he's got a visitor's visa. In this type of scenario, since Mr. Frank Owusu has got a child in this country, and the child is British, under paragraph 276 ADE of the immigration rules, even though he came in as a visitor with the intention of going back, his circumstances have changed significantly. And on that basis, he will be able to switch from the visitor's route to a parent route on the basis that his son or his child is British, or the child is 7 years or more, and he wants to make application under family and private law life. In this case, yes, he should be able to make a successful application, and if it is granted, he will be given 2.5 years, and another 2.5 years, and another 2.5 years, and another 2.5 years for 10 years. And after 10 years, he will then qualify to apply for indefinite leave to remain. And after obtaining indefinite leave to remain, provided that you can satisfy the naturalization requirement, can then apply to stay in this country as a British citizen. So that policy, basically, it favors people like that. It does not favor everyone. It is never true that Britain has granted amnesty or secret amnesty. Do not fall for that. A lot of people, or some people, have basically fall for it, and they have ended up leaving the UK, not because they want to, because they were chased out of this country. So it is important that text messages that people are sending around, please, if at all possible, do not send it to anyone, because what it says, if you read deep into it, if you go details, you will see that, what has been written, it is not necessary how it is in practice. Because when you read the headline, you get encouraged and you feel that, oh, this is good news for me. I might as well try it because I'm going to get it. And if you're not careful, people will take your money and take you for granted. So please, people need to be aware of this, because it is not a blanket policy that you are living in this country, come for papers. It is not like that. And all the major parties have said that they will never do that. So please, be very, very careful. Private and family life, last week I did touch on that briefly. Either you have a spouse or a partner in this country, a fiancé, a child, you have a parent or a relative who will provide long-term care for you. In that case, then the policy or the announcement that has been made, you stand a chance of applying. So I've just used one example, you know, whereby you come to visit your child, and basically your child is British, you're unable to go back because of changing your circumstances, and the parental route you could apply. The next one is a partner route. Maybe you come in with a fiancé visa. Fair enough. The intention was to get married and stay here. Or perhaps you come in to visit your wife. You don't want to go back because of changing your circumstances. The policy also covers you. Maybe you have a child who is British, or maybe European national living in the UK. The policy also covers you. Or maybe you are a parent of a British child, then the policy will also cover you. So for example, your child came here on a holiday to visit you for 2 weeks. Because of the COVID-19, your child cannot go back. In this case, the policy covers him. And also, if you are a relative, and basically you need a long-term care, you need a care, you cannot look after yourself if you are supposed to be returned back to your home country, and there is no one there to provide that care for you, then you can also apply under the policy that has been announced. So please, it is not a blanket policy where you can simply go to say that I want a visa to stay in the UK because I don't have a stay in the UK. It does not work that way. And do not let anyone deceive you. If you get these messages through WhatsApp, please verify it before you send it on. Because at the end of the day, if you don't and you give it to someone, the person get ripped off, the person is going to mention your name in some way or the other. So all that I say, all that I ask is that please, let's be cautious, let's be careful. Because at the end of the day, there are sharks out there who would do anything to take people for granted, to take people's money, to manipulate people and take advantage of them. You know, money is very, very hard to come by, especially these days, where we also have a lot of redundancies going on and the threat of redundancy. It is not easy, you know, so the little that we have managed to save, let's be careful with it. Let's be wise with it. You know, let's be careful, because at the end of the day, especially if you don't have papers, someone takes your money, and if you try to make noise, the person will have the cheek even to threaten you with the Home Office and deportation as well. So one have to be very, very careful. You know, we have to be very, very careful and, you know, secure ourselves, and also to secure our monies, and also, you know, to secure our interest in whatever that we do. So that's what I can say about the new announcement that has been made. We have received a lot of telephone calls, like as I've said this week, about people wanting to know what is going on and what are going on. So you know, we all have to be very careful. Let's spread the news as well, so that, you know, our loved ones, our friends, people do not take them for a ride. Because when you are desperate, as soon as you hear anything, you simply jump the gun, you know. But I think we all have to be very, very careful and do the best that we can to educate our people, so that, you know, one way or the other, nobody takes them for a ride. Okay, so that is what I would say in relation to the nationality, in relation to the recent announcement that has been made by the Home Office. Because sometimes someone will argue, so why should they make such an announcement to give such impression? You see, it's so difficult when you are trying to make a policy to cover a lot of scenarios and a lot of people. So sometimes, you know, like they say, the devil is in the detail, and the proof of the pudding is in the eating. It's very, very important that you do what you pay attention to the detail, you know, because if you pay attention to the detail, you will get to see exactly what they are saying and what is being said. Because if you're not careful, it could be easily, or you could be easily be misrepresented, and we don't want that. So that is the reason why every Saturday, over the past 10 years, I've made it a duty to come and basically and serve you with the latest immigration and nationality law update. So that is that for now. Let's look at some interesting cases I would say, very sad cases about people facing deportation. I mean, I find it difficult to understand why sometimes parents allow this to happen. But then again, if you're not in someone's shoes, you will simply judge someone unjustifiably. I am not here to judge anyone. I'm not here to school anyone. We are all here to learn. But I cannot help, it baffles me that a parent can be living in this country knowing well that his son or daughter immigration status is not secured. Why they should, how they can just live here and do nothing about it, it baffles me. And I don't know whether it's ignorance or sometimes it's just sheer wickedness, or maybe it's just stinginess. People don't want to spend money to do the right thing. I just don't know, you know, and it's something that baffles me. And you know, if time is on my side, I really want to do a research into this area, because I don't get it. If I say I get it, I'll be lying to you. I don't get it as a parent. Whilst you can be living in the UK, living here whilst your son, your daughter, you have not bothered, or out of ignorance, you have not been able to secure the child's future. It baffles me. And it's a case that keeps coming to us almost day in and day out. And people will seek legal advice when things are really bad. I don't get it. I do not get it. I mean, cases have come before me, and I'm going to use that as an example. And after that, I will use these two cases, newspaper reports. The case of Darrell and Darren Roberts. They are facing deportation to countries that they have never visited. This is the headline. I hope you can see it. So it's not like Lawyer Darko, I'm making this up. I really hope you can see this. And if you're a parent and you are listening, you are watching me today, I beg you, put your children's first. Put your children's interests first. Make sure that their future in this country is secured. Because once they reach the age of 18, things become so tough for them. Things become very difficult for them. So do not wait until the children reaches the age of majority. And I hope with these examples, we will also learn, share the knowledge, share the education, so that people will continue to do the right thing. You know, sometimes out of ignorance, people do stupid things. You know, but if you and I are sharing this information, if you and I are educating people, I think some of these mistakes could be avoided. So many of these mistakes could be avoided because day in and day out is happening. How can we stop this from happening? How can we reduce it? How can we limit it? It's a job for you and I to do. I cannot do it by myself because I'm only one person. By you watching me today, listening today, you can share this program. By sharing, you are doing your bit as well to spread the knowledge and education. So all those people who have tuned in, listening to the sound of my voice, Lawyer David Darko of Justice and Law Solicitors, Unit 35B 49 Efra Road, Brixton, London, SW21BZ. Telephone number is 07538 969 or 0207 993 5976. You would help us to educate people. So let me also take this opportunity before I continue to welcome those who have tuned in and those who are sharing the program for us. Because we need to go viral. We need to be everywhere. We need to make people learn, even those who don't want to learn, and those who do not even want to listen to the voice of reason. We have to shove it in their throat so that they do learn. And that is what we've got to do. We need to educate the masses. Today, what we are doing is not only about United Kingdom. We will also be touching on the case of Mensa and Mensa under Ghana law. We'll be looking at the case of White and White under UK law, divorce and the distribution of matrimonial property. We'll be looking at all that. So today we are firing from all cylinders, all cycles. So by all means, those who have tuned in, thank you very much for tuning in. Nana Bob, Rosemary Edier, Kweku Zigzagging, Nana Ajeman. We thank you for tuning in, and we also thank you for sharing. Frank Owusu Boatin, Bismarck Kwesi Adams, good morning to you wherever you are. Mr. Kweku Yebua, also thank you for tuning in. Okay, it's indicated that the voice was low. I hope that you can hear me loud and clear. Eno Fusua, also thank you very much for tuning in. Mr. Owusu Echao, also thank you for tuning in. Santa Cruz, good morning to you wherever you are. Ryan Rex, also thank you for tuning in. Madam Ruth Kumpon, last week was your birthday. You kept that quiet. Happy birthday to you. Nana Yao Berima, also good morning to you wherever you are. Abba Asman Saki, good morning to you. Overcomer. Queen Lydia, wherever you are, good morning to you. Thank you very much for hinting that it is okay now. Thank you. Kenneth Kofi Ofovi Boatin, good morning to you. Charlotte Kita, good morning to you. Barbara Otuo Berima, good morning to you and thank you for joining us. Edu Amankwa Efia, also thank you for joining us. Emilia Nkum Emisa, thank you very much for joining us. Shelly Kusi, thank you very much for joining us. Our telephone number is 0207 993 5976. I will pin it up so that those people asking for our telephone numbers, you will get it as well. Today, we're going to go deep. We need to know where we stand in relation to the law. Because if you don't, unfortunately, you end up doing the wrong stuff and you end up losing out big time. What are we talking about? We are talking about deportation of people. And once we come out of the European Union, it's going to get worse. Not only that, there is also a rumor that even the European Convention of Human Rights, we are going to get rid of it. If you do get rid of it, I don't know where the guarantees of human rights will be. Because if you leave too much power to the state, the state will go crazy. That is the reason why one of American leaders said something. Say, power corrupt, but absolute power corrupt absolutely. So make no mistakes. Don't put too much power in one person's hand. That is the reason why it is never good to listen to a dictator, because nobody advises a dictator. A poor man cannot advise the rich man. So we need to be aware of this. Concentration of power is a remedy for disaster. So we all have to be very careful about this. Okay, now let's listen to this sad, it's very sad story. And I believe when we hear these sad stories, it wakes us up. And therefore, for me, I think it's very important that I wake everyone up, because I have woken myself up by reading this article. And it's very, very sad. This is two young boys, two black boys. They've never been to their parents' home country. And listen to what has happened to them. I was very tempted to summarize it, but then on a second thought, no, let me just read it so that you know exactly what it says. This is an article from a newspaper, 7th of July, 2020. That's the Independent newspaper, to be precise. So we all need to be aware of this and listen to this very carefully. It has been reported in the newspaper. The article was written by someone called Amelia Gentleman. Twins who were born in London and have never left the UK face deportation to different countries in the Caribbean where they have no close relatives, their families have told the newspaper. So this article, I saw it at two places, The Guardian and the Independent newspaper. So if you look for The Guardian, you may be able to get it, and also the Independent. Darrell Roberts, who is now 24, has been issued with a deportation notice, informing him that the Home Office plans to send him to the Dominican Republic following a prison sentence, even though he has no connection with that country. He believes officials named it in error. His father was born on the island of Dominica. So his father is from Dominican Republic. The child was born in the UK. His twin brother, Darren Roberts, has been warned he faces deportation to Grenada, the country where his mother was born, when he finishes his own jail sentence, according to his partner. The brothers, the story goes, were taken into care through the social services, and they were moved from one foster carer to another. And in the end, to cut the story short, they ended up in the prison system. Their father was born in the Dominican Republic. The mother was born in the Grenada. Because of that, UK says that we are going to deport you. As twins, they are not deporting them to one country. One is going to their father's country. One is going to go to their mother's country. It has been reported. These children, they are 24 years of age. You see, they were born in this country. And I suspect people are thinking, if they are born in this country, then they have to be British. Why are they not British? Someone may ask. Okay. Someone may ask, that is fine. So that would then mean that they were either born in 1985 or 1986, if you look at their age, because they are 24 today. So let me just take my time and go back to the law, British Nationality Act of 1981, which came into effect. It was implemented on 1st of January 1983. The law is that any child born in the UK before 1st of January 1983 is automatic British by birth. No question about that. Okay? So that principle has been established. These kids were born either 1985 or 1986. So that means when they were born, they could not have acquired British citizenship by birth because of the change in the law in 1981 implemented on 1st of January 1983. It's very clear. We have established that. Since they were living in the UK, the Nationality Act of 1981 specifically states that if a child is born and the child is not British, and one of the parents subsequently acquires indefinite leave to remain or settlement status, they could make an application for naturalization of their child, and the child is someone who is under the age of 18. So the question that I ask myself is this: the parents of Daryl and Darren, did they acquire indefinite leave any time before the children turn 18? If that is the case, then they made a big mistake by not registering the child as British citizens. Let's assume we are giving them the benefit of the doubt. Let's assume that they never acquired indefinite leave to remain. They were living here unlawfully. The British Nationality Act once again also says that once a child has lived in the UK continuously for a period of 10 years, the child himself or herself qualifies to be registered as a British citizen under, I think, Section 1.3 or Section 3.1 of the British Nationality Act. So what stopped the parents at the age of 10 years from registering these children as British citizens? I don't understand that. Let's assume, because the report says that they went into care and they went into social services. Let's assume that, you know, when they were young, say at the age of 5, they went into care. They went into social services hand. The question that I am asking myself now, why is it that the social services, if that was the case, I'm not blaming anyone, but if that was the case, why is it that the social services or those who were caring for these children did not register them as British citizens? There are just too many questions in this particular case that it makes no sense. But I say to you, Sebio ye kasim, your sister will be sure ba, and he said they were sure adi. Na Sebio oba tembi aso edoneba. Na ebejimi for agro edie de pa banawo enyede. And you know, it's very important. There are so many questions here that needs to be asked. So all that I say to you, if you are watching me today, regardless, once you have a child in this country, whether the child is in the care system, the child is anywhere, someone is looking after the child, I can tell you today, se onsechi ya, sebeye uda, enti se onsayen, never. So onsechi, sebeye uda, enti se onsayen. So once you bring a child to this earth, it is your responsibility to make sure that the child's interest is protected at all times. This is a very, very sad case, and I don't get it. I don't understand, because there were so many avenues that could have been used for these children to become British. Now, these children have never been to Grenada. They've never been to the Dominican Republic or Dominica. Now you're sending them there. Where are they going? Where are they going to start? And there's so many questions than answers. You know, so for me, it's very, very important that we use this as a case study to advise ourselves. Let's look at our children. Have we done the right thing by them? Have we secured them? Have we secured their interest? What are we doing to make sure that they are okay? What are we doing to make sure that their interest is protected? What are we doing to make sure that their status is protected in this country? I don't know how these guys are going to cope if they have to go to the Dominican Republic. I simply do not know. Even some of us who spend some of our, formative years outside the UK, look at how tough it is when we go back home, and you could see that you don't fit in and you struggle. You see, there's too much struggling. So I don't know how these guys, if they are, in fact, they are deported, how they are going to cope. I don't know how they are going to make it over there. Yes, it's true that life is how you make it, but the shock of being in a new country, never been there, I can only pray that their lawyers are able to fight this case successfully for them to stay. In an event that it doesn't succeed and they are sent back, God give them strength to be able to deal with whatever comes their way and cope. Because it's not easy to start a new life from another country. It is not easy at all. And especially living in this country for all your life for 24 years, and you have to go and start somewhere else. It's not going to be easy for them, that our prayers are with them. So this is just, what do you call it? A warning, or this is just something that people need to be aware of, because it's happening almost every day, every week. People are being deported. You'll be surprised when it doesn't happen to you, or it hasn't happened to you yet. Sometimes you think that it doesn't happen. So we all have to be aware of this and be alert. Not only that, you know, it's a very, very sad story. So, you know, someone has, you know, also come with a comment, which is very good, about the background to this case, which is very good. If you are watching, if you go to the comment section, Mami Efua has kindly, you know, given us a bit more information in relation to the background of Darren and Daryl. It's very, very sad story. I mean, I don't know what to say to that, you know, from what she has written and what I've just read, the little that I was able to read. The mom died when they were so young, you know, so they've really had a very tough time. And if they have to go to Grenada and Dominica, I don't know how they are going to cope, how they are going to, you know, to survive, you know. So I don't know, you know, it's one of those. But, you know, I pray that, you know, they are successful in fighting the deportation. Now, let's go to another case, very, very similar to this. So when a child is born in this country after 1983, please do not assume that the child is British, because the child may be illegal, just like anyone who has been hiding at the back of a truck to get into this country. The same status. The child may be born here, the child may have British certificate of birth. That does not make the person a British citizen. We need to be very, very aware of this, and we must not take certain things for granted. This is a very sad story, and it's a story that keeps happening. Another one is a musician, jazz musician. She played very good jazz, very good music. I know yesterday I took the opportunity to go to YouTube and research on her and listen to some of the jazz music that she has played. And in fact, I'm so tempted even to go now and play some of the music that she has made, that is on YouTube, and her name is Bumi Thomas. Bumi Thomas, you know, is a jazz musician from Glasgow, also facing deportation. She was born in Scotland, and it's very sad that, you know, once again, I don't know why this keeps happening. You know, other people don't take this serious, or perhaps, you know, their circumstances is such that they are unable to regularize their stay or their status. But for me, it's a warning, and it's also a lesson for us. You know, we can all learn from people's demises and, you know, make sure that it doesn't happen to our loved ones. It's a jazz musician, and, you know, she played very, very fine jazz music. Like I said, I went there to listen, and in fact, it's fantastic. Let's, you know, try and give you a taste of it. You know, some of the tunes that she has come up with, and I believe that you're probably gonna enjoy it as I did enjoy it last night. She's also facing deportation. Let's just, you know, listen to this and see, you know, how nice it is. Right, so this is also a musician born in Glasgow, once again also facing deportation from the United Kingdom. It has been reported that, you know, she was, you see, the sad thing is this. Let's listen to this. This is a story. Last year, Thomas was preparing to bring that rich voice to bear in performance in Los Angeles with the Moroccan visual artist Hassan Hajij. The next day, she woke up to a letter and felt the earth give away. Thomas was born in Glasgow in June 1983. That's another sad story. If she was born just before 1st of January 1983, she would have been a British citizen. She was born in June 1983 after the Thatcher government's British Nationality Act had come into effect on 1st of January of that year. It stated that children born to parents from the colonies were no longer entitled to automatic citizenship. The letter informed Thomas, who has lived in the UK solidly since she was 17, that she had 14 days to leave the country or make herself subject for deportation or detention. Basically, she received a letter that she's got to leave the UK. She was born here, and basically she was preparing even to go to Los Angeles just to receive a letter that, you know, she should leave the country because she is not a British citizen. She was born in June 1983. So how she was going to go to the LA to play the music, I don't know how she was going to do that. But my feeling is that she probably applied for British passport. And then to be told that you are not British, details was passed on to the Home Office, and this letter came in the fold. So this is what I say to you. If you are living here, you are in the UK, you have a child living here, make it a priority to make sure that your child is secured. Because tomorrow does not belong to you. Tomorrow does not belong to me. I could be dead tomorrow if I haven't done it for my children. Children are children, they cannot make decisions for themselves. If adults who intercede do not do the right thing with them, they could end up in the same situation. And I will say this to you. I know how immigration works. I know how tough immigration law can be. My children, as soon as they were born, within a period of 2 weeks, they were holding their passport. I never joke about that. Because tomorrow doesn't belong to us. I made sure my children were holding their passports just after 2 weeks after they were born. Because I have seen the damage that it has done to people. So please, if you are watching me, you are listening to the sound of my voice, you have a child, or a child come into your care, please do the best that you can, seek advice, and do the right thing by the children. Doing the right thing means making sure that their status in the UK is secured, so that the predicament that Darren and Daryl find themselves, the predicament that Bumi Thomas find herself, does not befall on your child. So that is all that I can say in respect to that. Number 2, we will also be talking about Home Office policy of giving 72 hours notice before deportation. Home Office have a policy. Once someone is facing removal or deportation, the law says that everyone has got the right of access to justice and access to lawyers. Home Office, in their wisdom, decided that 72 hours is a sufficient time for people to be able to consult lawyers and get legal advice and start legal remedies. It's been a long time policy for some time. However, a case went to court this week, and the judges held that the 72-hour notice that the Home Office are required to give to individuals and their legal advisors before removing them is unlawful. So at least this will be a reprieve to some people, because as a lawyer, someone get arrested, by the time you are contacted, the person may have only about 24 hours to be deported. And people are expected as a lawyer to perform a magic and all of a sudden to stop the deportation and get them out. But as a lawyer, you can only do your bit, and you do the best that you can. Sometimes you succeed, sometimes you don't. But if you have enough time to do this, it does help. But unfortunately, sometimes or most times, time is not on our side, and therefore we are unable to have sufficient time to prepare cases. It's unfortunate, but that is life. It does happen. So it happens in so many cases that, you know, they were unable to get proper access to legal advice. And some people are unjustifiably being removed or deported from this country. I mean, it has happened to one of my clients. Thank God we were able to fight the case whilst, you know, she was in Ghana, for her to come back to the UK. And for me, it's one of the best achievements. One of the jobs that I have done that I have got so much satisfaction from, because it seemed like impossible case until it was done. This is a case that I was instructed on a certain date. I can't remember the exact date. And basically, I did not even have sufficient evidence to submit the application. But however, because of the fact that, you know, she was going to report, I had to send the application off anyway and tell the caseworker that the supporting documents will follow. However, when she went to report, she got arrested, and the same day she was put on a flight. I argued about the 72-hour notice, and Home Office told me that they've already given the 72-hour notice about 2 years ago when she was with other lawyers, and therefore they do not care. They haven't broken any law. I argued that, but she's got right of appeal. They should give her internal right of appeal. They argued that no, she does not have internal right of appeal. Anyway, she was removed from the United Kingdom. And I would never forget, because I was on the phone to her while she was boarding the plane. And it wasn't easy. It was very, very emotional. I had to sit in my office till about 1 a.m. on that day. I was struggling to come home because I felt that, my God, I have let her down. Even though she knew that I have done my best, it wasn't my fault. You know, she came to me when it was too late, and that, you know, I did everything that I could, but I could not help that maybe I could have done more. All that I could tell her was that, look, I'm not going to give up on you. Whether you board the plane and go, I will fight until you come back to this country, provided that your daughter is prepared to work with me. So in the end, we all worked together. Within a period of 1 year, she was back with a proper and a valid visa. All those people who were saying that it's not possible, all those people were saying that, oh, it's a Ghana lawyer, he's just going to take your money, he can't do anything, blah, 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 blah. You know, they were all shocked and surprised by this. And I thank God she did not keep it to herself. She came to Fire Life Radio on 22nd of December 2018 to give a big testimony to our achievement. So for me, it's one of the biggest achievements that I have had, you know, during the course of my professional life. So all that I say to you is this. So much is going on. If you have a child in this country, if a child comes under your care, please do not think for one moment that the child is not your child, so you will not inquire about the child's immigration status. It is so important that from day one, you need to establish the child's status. Even if the child doesn't have a status, as a guardian, as a parent, seek advice. There are so many stuff that you can do. You can apply for residency order. You as the parent, if you have British status, or you have indefinite leave to remain, or you are a British, or you are, you know, an European national, and maybe your sister has passed on, or maybe your sister's child has come into your custody, make it official. Submit an application to the court for residency order. Once you get the residency order, lawyers can fight for you to be able to secure the child's status and future in this country. Because this devil keeps repeating itself almost every week, every day. We come across cases like this. And it does not stop shocking us, because every time you hear about some of these stories, you get numbed, you get shocked. You ask yourself, where were the adults? What did they do? Why did they not do what was right with these children? People are prepared to spend thousands of pounds to buy designer bags. Their children are not holding British passport and they don't give a toss. Where is your priority? Where does your priority lies? About time we wake up to these realities. Because you don't want to wake up one day. You may be old. You may not be working. You may not be able to help your child then. At that point, you are prepared to pay thousands of pounds to lawyers to fight against deportation for your son, who may be maybe about 30 years, 40 years by then. It makes no sense. Let's do the investment today. Let's do it now. Because the reality is this. There are so many people around, so many youth walking around, they don't have papers. You know, and it's very sad. And I'm going to tell you about my own experience. I was at the office. A gentleman came to me, narrated his story. And when he told me that he's been in this country since 1977, and Home Office are challenging that he doesn't have papers and that he should leave the country, I thought it was a joke. I didn't believe him. Sadly, I was questioning him. So what are you telling me? Can this be true? I doubted him. After taking instructions, I said, well, I've got your instructions, but I need to investigate. If what you are telling me is true and the evidence back it up, I'll be able to help you one way or the other. I'll be able to help you out one way or the other. Fair enough. So I carried out my investigation. And to my surprise, since 1977, everywhere that he has worked and the information that he gave me matches all the information held by the National Insurance Contribution Office. I was very, very surprised. He has worked since 1977. The taxes that he has paid is nearly £1 million from 1977. I was shocked. Because when you get your national insurance and tax history, I look at the figures every year, contribution that he has made. He has made a lot of contributions and he has worked very, very hard. I look at his hospital records, Italy's. I sat there and said, no, this is not right. So then I started arguing with the Home Office that they need to look into this. They keep coming back, prove it. He has lost his passport that contains his indefinite leave to remain. How is he going to prove this? I argued and argued and argued. I wasn't getting anywhere. Where he's working to, he's been suspended because they have had a tip-off. And in the end, sadly, I had to use the evidence that I had to apply for 2.5 years visa for him. Now that I speak to you, he's on a 10-year route to get the same indefinite again. Because he simply do not have concrete evidence or sufficient evidence for me to be able to use it to fight his cause. And therefore, I am stuck. And therefore, the best of two evils, I had to choose the 2.5 years, which is better than nothing. So now, he's starting all over again. This could have been avoided if he had applied for British citizenship a long time ago, which he chose not to do. Not only that, another case. And this guy came in when he was about 2 years of age. He has been to places and he's done a lot of things. I don't want to go too much into details for confidentiality's sake. Once again, he lost his passport. We went to Home Office. They said, sorry, they don't have any records of him. In the end, they wanted to deport him from this country. Once again, I had to go and get him 2.5 years. And even recent case that I have done, God is good. This gentleman came to see me. Once again, he was granted indefinite leave to remain. For whatever reason, he received a letter from the Home Office that the indefinite leave has been cancelled. After fighting the case, In fact, it appears to me that was not the case. So all that I would say is this: one have to be very, very careful. For me, once you get indefinite leave, that should not be the end of it. You should do the best that you can and move on and get British citizenship. Because once you have the citizenship, it could help you in a lot of ways. And even if you want to become a president of your country and you don't want it anymore, you can always give it up. They call it renunciation of citizenship. So why don't we do that to make sure that we are protected? Our interest is secured. It's very, very, very important. So let's do that. Let's do the best that we can, so that, you know, we can all do what? We can secure our children and we can secure their future as well. So let's take a bit of a break. And then when we come back, we will continue the program. When we come back, we will start off lasting power of attorney. And then we go to matrimonial breakdown and divorce. And then we will then activate the telephone lines. We will also invite Mr. Ishen, Amway product. Someone called me and said that your product is doing wonders for her and her family. She's been using it for only just over a week, but she has seen a lot of difference. I also had the opportunity to speak to our dear Mama Sylvia. Mama Sylvia Nakoto. I also had the opportunity to speak to her yesterday, and I believe that, you know, he will call you and give you what do you call it, a bit of a feedback about how things are progressing. So let's take this commercial break, and when we come back, we will continue the program. I will also ask those people who are posting advertisement on the comment section. We beg you, please do not do that, because you are disturbing people. I don't understand why you call yourself a malam. You can make someone money, but you want the person to give you money first. It makes no sense to me. So please, this is not the place for this tricky stuff. This is a place for education. So please do not do it again, because if you do, we will block you. As simple as that. I don't do malams here. We do law. We thank you very much. I hope that you will take it in good faith. May Allah bless you. May God bless you. Okay, let's take this commercial break. When we come back, we will continue. All right, that's the way it is. Let's continue the program. You had something to drink, which is good. Now we are ready to roll to the second segment of the program. Right, this country we have something called lasting power of attorney. This has replaced something called enduring power of attorney since 1st of October 2007. As we all know, life can be very, very unpredictable. And the only thing that is guaranteed in life is that one day we are all going to die. Right? I'm sitting here talking today. I could be dead tomorrow. But the thing is this, whether we like it or not, we cannot live forever. Someone may be dead today. The next day it could be your turn. And whether we like it or not, it's all part of life. Death is part of life, and therefore we have to get used to the idea that one day we are all going to die. Even Methuselah, the book in the Bible, at the age of 999, one cherebo uwi okoi. Now abrabo uwi, beginning is not difficult, but the end. Think about the end. How you are going to go. And after your death, whether your legacy will really stand the test of time. Whether your legacy is something that people are going to frown upon it. Or whether your legacy is something that will be put in Bristol Harbor. We have all seen what has happened recently. BLM. And the stinging and the dirty legacies that some people left. These people were hailed as heroes some time ago. But they say posterity will judge us all according to our works. So, what do we do in terms of lasting power of attorney? A will speak for you after you have passed on. And we have done will already. About a week, 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. We have covered will, and I'm so glad that the message has gone through. That people are beginning to actually take the steps and do their wills. Because at the end of the day, the reality is this. At the end of the day, if you die without a will, we covered the rules of intestacy. Now, the question therefore is, what about you are not dead, but you are incapable of making decisions for yourself? You are incapable of managing your affairs. What is it that you can do to make sure that the right thing, the right decision, right investment is done on your behalf? And therefore, it's for this reason that I'm going to be talking about lasting power of attorney. A lasting power of attorney is a legal document that basically you write and you register it. You register it so that upon an event that you become incapable of making decisions for yourself, upon an event that you are unable to manage your own affairs, then someone that you trust will be able to stand in and do these things for you. You see, when it comes to lasting power of attorney, just like wills, it's not a matter of money. It's not a matter of love. It's not a matter of family. And it's not a matter of friends. It's a matter of choice. We all need to understand this. Because if, for example, you appoint your friend, as an example, to be your attorney, Some people will sit there and say, why? But you got your family members. You got your blood family. Why are you choosing a friend to be your attorney in an event that you are unable to manage your own affairs? to manage your own affairs. You know, so that's the reason I said that it's a matter of choice. Because you will be able to be in a position to make that decision. You will be able to decide as to who can make a better decision for you if you are incapable of making the decisions yourself. So, lasting power of attorney is a legal document, as I've already explained, that basically you set out the person who is going to stand in for you in an event that you cannot manage your affairs, or you are unable to make decisions. But we have two types. I remember someone telling me about a story that the person did the power of attorney all right, lasting power of attorney all right, but the mistake that the person did was that the person did the wrong one. You will say, how can you do the wrong one? It's interesting. You can do the wrong one in the sense that if you are not careful, you will think, or you'll be forgiven to assume any power of attorney is power of attorney, and therefore it will do. But this is the difference that I think we need to be aware of and pay attention to it. It's very important. We need to know the difference and we need to pay attention to it, so that upon an event that we need to do one, we do the right one, so that we don't end up, doing something that will not serve a purpose. So now let's look at the two different ones that we have. We have lasting power of attorney for health and welfare. For health and welfare. And basically, it speaks for itself. This power of attorney is for an individual to be able to make decisions for you, relation to your health and also your welfare, such as, maybe you are going for a medical treatment. You are incapable of making that decision. He will then be able to make that decision for you in terms of your health and also your general welfare. Se wedi diemu baby a obeda baby a yebe hwewo de oba begina wo se wo hwewo care who me do be call so betene fie susu na so beto care who will come there and provide for you. These are the things that ubetimi appoint obi ese omegina mu ema. I beg, I'm switching it to our language a bit so that people can get it proper and real. If you are sitting obi abewu ba ye kwa ye be nyina no yare ye se obi benya wa na efri yare yare do obi atimi yare. All that it takes for something simple to happen, and you lose your capacity and your capability to be able to make decisions for yourself. And you can do something called lasting power of attorney. Lasting power of attorney simply is a legal document. Oba point will be amana gina ho amount. And to time unti make decisions, say any pani mum na ebe make decisions amount. Now you were two types. Bako is about mudin, any we did you was sitting IFN health and welfare. And bako so is about your property and financial affairs. Ebia or dying, ubeso be share so ma, any pano invest on fan rent or shares, stocks, sanya man bonds, upeseni pano a share so mawa, and also so as another one. And since we are poor fatonia, ideally, Sankabinya and Kayetu Nina. One will take care of your health and welfare, and the other one will take care of your property and your financial affairs. And to Oya Sanema we na said dawa, obi nim echinasem, obi nim die ebesi. Because from my own observation and what I have seen this week, I don't think I'm make kasa about this. Baby, you free, but unfortunately, I tell you, you say, ye adiboni bianto ye. Adiboni to ye, a ye be ye, and ye be ya a samai. superstitious beliefs. You know, but what the science is a ridiculous way to think. So it's very, very important. I say we have to be practical about life. You have to be practical about things. You cannot sit there and blame everything on spirituality. You cannot sit there and blame everything on spirits. Very important. Because spirit world is different from physical world. And therefore the spirit world and the physical world does not match, does not meet. And sanka sama it's me bibi di anke we asenka anka onko bintimi nkum nipa. Kan sama revenge. Sana etie. Until we live in a reality, we live in a modern city, modern country, modern world, and therefore we have to think modernly. So lasting power of attorney is to give you the mind comfort, the comfort that should something happens to me, enipa we number yi say or manage my face and emami. Period. Simple. Now, young funny say, wako shia oba, ono oba neti. Muye bibia bom te sa ware for, nembo mu ware. Next of kin, ebia obi fufro na naye o next of kin. Sesi asase mpo eba. Oba wote wo no. Obeye dempo na oba anim. Abeka se ono na ese o make decisions no. Entubo say oba no ese oba forward. Some people will have problem with that. Oba na ama forward. Some people will have problem for that. Asem to nimpo oba na asem fa ne ho. Oba ne so forward. Oh oba no we too interfering dodo. Hwese waje aginem we ye busuan asem. Edru ho de be se kire se abusuan ne blood eni moja. But ewia se obi anuane obi o. Ana obi anyame eni obi. So obi o papa o yo nyame. Obi ayo papa da o yo nyame. Na ensa I know aduane am wadi da no. Ye nyini aten. Ana se ensa ato bibia mu wadi da no. Ye nyini aten. Ye money di mbone. Enu nti na ebeye important to say, in order to avoid any confusion, in order to avoid any problem, do lasting power of attorney, and it's your choice. Utmika say, Madam for kwaku owusu. And I say Madam for kwami ajiman. And I say Madam for kwabna ajiman. Se bibimpo etomia na mintimi make decisions. Bibimpo tome na mintimi nkasa. Bibimpo tome na mintimi enye hwea. Mepa ma chow ma yesa lasting power of attorney. Ese kwame ana mene na namache. Kwame nenim misubai. Kwame nenim de me pene de mempe. Enti se bibimpo etomia mama kwame e make all the decisions concerning my health and welfare. I know Bismika say, why not a betisi, why a betisika, akowar in the townful. Esidebia, a grofu be brave, our risika, and no matter for tepa. Until you be if any sleeping with your enemy. Until it's a fact of life. Nemum, nimna winim se nipane wa townful nanity. Sanity. Until no, kase. One a betiska ko right na town for. It's not entirely true. If and only if you know, then you can do something about it. But if you don't know, what you gonna do about it? Nothing. So it's very important that we consider doing lasting power of attorney. That will take care so that when you are unfit to make decisions about our health and welfare, there will be one for it. And about property and financial affairs, there will be the other one for it. If you want to draft or you need assistance in drafting lasting power of attorney, then of course you need to get in touch with Justice and Law Solicitors. We will be able to help you because we will help you to draft it, and after we have drafted it, we will also register it for you so that it is official. You have your peace of mind, because accident did missy. Anything can happen. You may be fit today, you go into work, you got yourself in a car accident or some sort of accident, all of a sudden, you lose your consciousness, your ability to be able to make decisions. Someone have to step in, someone have to make those decisions. And today is something that we need to watch out for. Basically, once we draft the power of attorney, we will take it to the public records office and we will register it for you so that it's all official, everything is on record. Upon the event that it is called for, no one can dispute the authenticity of it. Power of attorney, lasting power of attorney, you can always change it if you wish. If your circumstances changes and you want to change it, by all means you can change it. So this is something that we have to bear in mind, and you can also revoke it if you need to. So it's important that you are aware of this, because the thing is, once you are incapable, you cannot do these things. So you have to do it whilst you are capable, and you can get it out of the way. This is how it looks like, power of attorney. Lasting power of attorney. This is how it looks like. So you need to get one sorted, so that upon an event that something happens to you, there will be someone there who you have appointed to do all this for you. One is for health, and one is for financial decisions. As you can see, this one is about financial decisions. I believe that you can see that, lasting power of attorney for financial decisions, and you also have to do one for health care decisions. Another one for healthcare decisions. I believe that you can see it. And of course, once it's done, you have to register it at the public record office so that it's on record. No one can take any liberties with it, because I've seen so many cases that come before me. Someone was very, very ill. The person was incapable of making decisions for himself. Family members were sitting there, but strangers were looking after this person. As soon as the person dies, all of a sudden, their family members, they are coming to take whatever they can. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. Care for people when they are alive. Don't care for them after they have passed on. So the person came to me, oh, his brother has passed away. Someone took advantage of his brother, blah, 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 blah. And to be honest with you, I got a bit, peed off of this person. And I said, well, when your brother was alive, where were you? Oh, I was living here, blah, blah, I was busy with my life. I said, yeah, now he's dead. Continue to be busy with your life. Don't come and take any liberties. At the end of the day, a stranger had to provide for your brother when he was in need. You did not care. You had your own life, running your own rat race. Now that he's dead, you are asking for what he left over. How nasty are you? And to be honest with you, I don't think the person will talk to me again. But sometimes the truth has to be told. Care for people when they are alive rather than pretending to care once they are dead. So it's important that if you want to care for someone, care for them whilst they are breathing, not when they stop breathing and they are no longer relevant. Tina, I'm actually the kind any pewu and I was saying, when the person is dead, it's late. So provide care to your loved ones when they are alive rather than when they are dead. So that is that. Let's look at divorce and sharing of matrimonial properties. It's interesting. As we all know, Christians will tell you that marriage is for life. Legally, I would say marriage is a contract, because nobody goes into marriage, this is my own opinion, with their eyes closed. At the end of the day, in this life, we are all living life to pursue happiness. And social writers, sociologists, criminologists, psychologists, you name them, most writers will tell you that as human beings, once you are born, you seek your own happiness. But because of law, because of religion, because of social structure, our greediness is curtailed by structure that is around us. So especially, for example, If I'm hungry and I'm looking for food, if it hadn't been for the law that prevent me from going into a shop, taking the food, bringing it home and eating it without paying for it, everyone will go to a shop and just take the food and eat it without paying for it. However, society structure tells us that in order to pick up the food to bring it home, you have to pay for it. So when I get up and I get out there and I want the food, society says that I must pay for the food. If not, I'll be breaking the structure. And if I break the structure, there will be sanctions. Emily Durkheim, in his theory of anomy, teaches us so. The social structure determines our behavior. So in this case, because of society saying you must pay, you will go and pay. And therefore, this shows how society can control our behavior. Now, marriage, like someone will say, is for life. Someone will say it's a contract where two parties come together with the view of enjoying each other's company, enjoying each other, and with the hope that it will continue until death do us apart. Share together, show some love together, do things together until death do us apart. But then again, if you read the Bible says that the only way you can divorce your partner, your wife, your husband, is if there is adultery. And even if you can deal with it, go back and take it. This is what spiritual scriptures and spiritual people will tell us. Fair enough. However, in law, we don't do the Bible. We only do what the law says. So in law, this is what it tells us. If you want to divorce, you must have a ground, the reason for divorce. And the law has given us 5 grounds, both in Ghana law and UK law, that in order to be able to divorce, you need to prove either the other party has committed adultery and there is an evidence by way of physical evidence or confession or video evidence. 2, the other person has behaved in such a way that no reasonable person can expect you to continue to reside with that person. Thirdly, desertion. The other party has deserted you for more than 2 years. Fourthly, separation with consent, that you've been separated for 2 years or more and the other party will consent to the divorce. And fifthly, you are looking at 5 years separation, that the parties have been separated for a period of 5 years. If you are able to tick one of these boxes, you are nearly there. In Ghana law, you also need to prove that the marriage has broken down beyond reconciliation. That means the marriage is so bad that there is no way that the parties can come back together. So that is UK law. Ghana law is very, very similar. There is no difference. That's the reason why they say the common law jurisdictions, because those countries that the UK ruled back in the days, they have very, very similar laws. Their laws was based in the UK justice system. So that's how it is. So if you want to divorce, the question that our sister asked last week, can the other party stop you from divorcing him or her? The simple answer is no. The person can make it difficult, but the person cannot stop you from getting a divorce. The reason being that you cannot force someone to stay in a marriage. It takes 2 to tango. So if you are dancing and the other party is not dancing to the tango tune, then that means it will not work. You cannot dance your cha-cha. And so it's important that these two people, they need to understand that yes, you can resist it, you can delay it, you can fight it, but whether you like it or not, at some point, a divorce certificate will be issued to bring the marriage to an end, provided that the party can establish one of the facts that I have mentioned. I've mentioned about 5 facts, i.e. adultery, behavior, separation with consent, desertion, and 5 years separation. If you're able to prove one of these, of course, the judge, the court, will simply allow the case to go ahead and proceed. Only that if the other party does not respond, if the other party start playing games, then they can only make it difficult, but they cannot stop you. It's as simple as that. Now, when there is a divorce, now let's go to the sharing of the matrimonial home property and so on and so forth. The key to understand is that before people meet, before 2 people come together and get married done, individuals may have their own lives, some way, somewhere, somehow. And therefore, you cannot say that they are equal. They can never be equal. Human beings, we can never be equal because people are different. People have different mindsets. People have different mentality. How people get influenced by things are also different. So a typical example, even twins coming from the same womb, they are not the same. They come, to life, they'll be doing different things, and they see life differently. They may come from the same mother, the same father, everything may be the same, but they are never the same. That's the reason why I always say that never judge someone according to someone's standard. Judge the person according to the person's own standard and how the person behaves towards you. Is very, very, very important. So now, let's look at the sharing of the matrimonial properties. And I will always say this. The advice that I will give to my daughter, I will never give the same advice to my son. Why? Because we have 2 different competing interests. If I'm going to advise my daughter, I'm going to advise my daughter to make sure that her interest is protected against a man. If I'm advising my son, I'm going to advise my son, so that his interest is protected against a woman. And therefore, you will see that the advice that I will give can never be the same, because naturally, I will be biased in favor of them. And it's very, very important that we understand these concepts and these principles. So how do we get here? Whenever there is a breakdown in any relationship and every relationship, the parties, before the formation of that relationship, may have their own lives. And therefore, during that life, they may have acquired properties, they may have had businesses, they may have had some savings, they may have done their own thing without the other party's involvement or input. However, once they get married, then the position changes. That would then mean whatever they have acquired before the marriage, generally speaking, is untouchable when it comes to the distributing of the assets of separated couples or divorced couples. And so therefore, what would then happen is that during the course of the relationship, the parties may do things together, or the other party may make sacrifices for the other party to succeed materialistically. How does this happen? A typical example is that women, if there is children involved, a woman has to be pregnant on average for about 9 months. And then the woman has to give birth. On the 9th month, after birth, the woman then have to look after the child. In some cases for about 1 year. So a woman could be out of work for 2 years just to have a baby, just to have a child. I'm using just here, not because having a baby is easy or nothing, but I'm using it in the context of productivity. And therefore, the woman will not become economic active for these 2 years. As a man, you will still be working. You'll still be making money. You may still be hiding some of the money somewhere. You may be building projects, you may be doing things, building houses. You see, the woman may not have the opportunity to do the same because the woman is looking after your child and the woman is not getting paid. The woman is not getting paid after risking her life 9 months to have a child. And having a child is about life and death. Brothers, for someone to basically dedicate his life and risk his life so that you may live, it is not a joke. So we really have to be, very attentive about this. The woman will not be working for nearly 2 years. You'll be working. Maybe because of you are working, you are able to, if you like, bring home some of the money to provide for the woman. But you are, because of the child, the woman's opportunities are being limited. For getting pregnant for you for 9 months, for having the child for you, and looking after the child to about the age of 2 before she's able to go back to work. In some cases, they have to look after the child almost for about 8 years until the child is able to go and come. And it's not an easy task. So in this case, the ability to earn also reduces. So you, the man, you are free to come and go and do whatever you want. Build up more businesses during this time. When there is a divorce, the man will say, no, but this is my own thing. It's got nothing to do with the woman. The woman is not going to get anything. No, the case of white and white, the case of Mensa teaches us that equality is equity. Equality is equity in the sense that when it comes to the sharing of matrimonial home properties, the starting point is that you share it 50-50. You share it 50-50. That is the starting point. So any property that has been acquired during the course of the relationship, the course of the marriage, must be shared equally, unless you can prove otherwise. So it is very important that we understand these principles. And I will use this Ghana case as an example for us, so that we get a better understanding. If you give me one moment. The case of white and white is UK equivalent. The case of Mensa and Mensa is Ghana's case. And basically, the summary of the case is as follows. I wanted to read the whole case so that we get a better understanding. But my laptop was playing up a bit because the charger, the charger has gone down. But I've managed to switch it back on. Let's see if I can bring up the case and read the whole thing so that we get a better understanding. But whilst I'm searching for it, I will basically give you the summary so that we all know exactly white and white case in Ghana, what it's about. It is an interesting case. That's the reason why I want to read it. The level that people will go and the lies that people will told. The Bible says, thou shalt not bear false witnesses, but yet people will lie, they will make false witnesses just to prove a point. But God will judge us all. Time is posterity will judge man. Let's look at the fact of this case. This case was an appeal from the judgment of the Court of Appeal, dated 23rd of July 2009, which affirmed the judgment of the High Court, dated the 31st of January 2003. In a petition filed on the 20th of April 2000, the petitioner argued that she and the respondent were married under Ghanaian customary law in March of 1989, and they converted the customary marriage into the ordinance marriage in June 1989. However, it emerged from the evidence that the parties got married in 1987. About a decade after the celebration of this union, cracks started appearing in the marriage, with the petitioner accusing the respondent of acts of infidelity, which culminated in the respondent moving into their jointly acquired home in Adenta with his illicit lover, giving credence to the petitioner's allegation. After diligent efforts at reconciliation had failed, the petitioner, who in this case was the woman, Mrs. Mensah, filed her petition for divorce at the High Court. That the parties also acquired substantial assets during the subsistence of the marriage. And she listed the properties that they had together during the course of the marriage as follows: 3-bedroom house at Kaswa, 6-bedroom house at Adenta, 4-bedroom house at Krobo Odumase, 3-bedroom house at Spinters Road, land at Adenta, land at Krobo Odumase. They also had a shares in a company called Guidem Company Limited. They also had shares in a shop at the airport at Elwak Road. Nissan Petrol GT 618E. They also have Nissan Sunny GT 1073D. They also had a pickup GT 3240P. And they also had Opel GT 9414Q. They also had a 20-feet container. And they also had a bank account in their joint names at SSB Tudu branch. I can't remember the name of the bank. Anyway, so this was the assets of the property. Upon the filing of the petition, the man said that everything that she has listed does not belong to her. It's his own. It belongs to only him. That was his argument. And that the woman did not contribute nothing to it. This was his argument. Fair enough. He was able to get 5 witnesses, false witnesses, to come forward and basically batter up his argument. The woman did not have any witnesses. She went there alone with no witnesses and fight for her cause. Interestingly, the man, one of the witnesses, contradicted him because he was claiming that the woman did nothing. The woman wasn't working for him. The woman did absolutely nothing. He has worked and acquired everything by himself. And therefore, it's had nothing to do with the woman. So, his own evidence also put him in it. One of the properties that he built, he claims that he took a loan to build the property. When they look at the loan papers, in fact, the property was built before even the loan was granted. And therefore, logically, it makes no sense for that to be able to happen. Not only that, his own witness also contradicted him. The 5 false witnesses that he brought, one of them said things that contradicted everything that he was saying, and in fact, it supported the woman's argument. And in the end, the court made a decision that basically all the properties that has been acquired during the course of the relationship have to be shared 50-50. Similarly, in the UK, the case of White and White, similar thing happened. Also, they had farms. They intended to do farming. Upon the breakdown of the relationship, the court said that equality is equity, and therefore, on that basis, they had to basically share the properties. If you are making decisions, you have to look at 50-50 as a starting point, provided that the parties acquired those properties when they were married. And in fact, when it comes to this, women are likely to suffer as a result, because if it hadn't been for this case, most women, people would have taken advantage of them, because a woman will be pregnant for 9 months, 9 months of pain, 9 months of uncertainty, 9 months of not being able to be yourself, 9 months of stretch marks, 9 months of between life and death, so that they can bring forth truth, so that they can bring next generation. They risk all this for us, whilst we men we can go out there and work. These times, we are able to build properties, we are able to buy good stuff, and we want to deny women from it. They could have also used their time to make money and not to have children. But they volunteer. They made that sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice, which they could have paid with their life, so that the next generation can also come into play. And therefore, it is only fair that when it comes to these things, we play or we use the rules of equity. Equality means equity. Because the woman has given up a lot, and therefore, when we are able to acquire a lot, then we need to be able to share it with them equally upon an event that our relationship breaks down. So that's all that I can say to this. So I will invite our brother, Mr. Ishen. I will invite Mr. Ishen also to to talk a bit about Amway product and the wonders that it is doing for people. I mean, like I said last week, I'm very, very grateful to him for his support to Justice and Law and also to Fire Life Radio. May the anointing of God be upon him and his family, and we do appreciate him all the time. So let's have 5 minutes quick word with him, and after that we'll speak to Paradise City, and then we can then activate the telephone lines. So let's speak to Mr. Shen. If he's able to pick, great. Okay, he's here now. Hello.
This is Emmanuel.
Mr. Emmanuel.
Please leave your name and number.
Okay. Let me say Mr. Emmanuel couldn't pick. So let's go to PC. Let's go and speak to the PC, Madam Paradise City. Let's have a quick word with them. And if you're interested in buying any property in Ghana, by all means you can contact them. They could help you to basically to secure your place in Ghana. Tama kofo didi kofo sika na say they say mo say twem so oya na che say wetimi idea wetimi akwako hu o na say o wetimi asort bibia idea ama sana yebeye no. Okay, okay, let me just play this tune, and then whilst we try to get hold of Paradise City, now I feel now you're tuning on my casa for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, be not just say, yeah. And as I said, you'll be who at yes, Paradise City, don't want to come Paradise City, they come on board. Also, we appreciate them for all their wonderful support to Justice and Law, and also to Fire Life Radio, and also to all our listeners. We've got them live on air. Let's just have a quick word with them, and then we can then activate the telephone lines. Today we talked about matrimonial home, matrimonial properties. If you have 2 different properties, you just split it 50-50. If you don't have it and you have only 1 property, by all means, Paradise City, they also deal with property law. They'll be able to, educate us a bit in relation to buying properties, whether you hold this as joint tenants or tenancy in common. They are also live here. It's not only about immigration. As you know, this program will cover everywhere. Anything that will be important, that is relevant to our listeners, we will bring it. That's the way we do it. Thank you very much. Madam PC.
Hello.
Madam PC, let's say. Nyankopon adom ye ho eye pa ye tinkwan mu de na se ye wo ade na amanfo so mate won ka ache enti yeda wasese ene so no wase womre na wasai ababeka yensa na ene ye can be about matrimonial home, sharing of matrimonial home, how to protect your interests, especially when it comes to registration. Ebane memane de mano oh me say me din da so a me no dia in the big deal. Obi wan so afọ ba na chi no di ni din na akoto so. Ha dwene. Enti no eja mo ground mo Ghana. Mudi akutini ewo adansie mu no. Ene de na oso o edemaye.
Oh, na me adom you what me share a lot of information very good it's mission are from one of the thing I can say especially me pick you on point now unikun acid I property now wafawachi now akwako you know the ninua akoto so na wa UDF so you nim ho hwe to me no more no privately so very easy say bibi sabet me see but the ultimate come through company to say Paradise City initially no ube fill a form no more can say sign a form no more can say can edian person mo de better so entino we say mosa san wachi so ba ko san na chi say oh me pese me sisana be ni say ya to protect yes who as a company no and by law and right no the other party no also needs to be contacted say say or agree or agree ansana you better come forward and make any changes and see although go forward me about with stories no or with their situation no by documents by right no I was saying who said before I to me changing both parties almost have a consent on it and we keep encouraging clients whether it's self-finance and whether I am mortgage doing to send our kind will and I say this insurance no a boapa a protected as a person being having been in my business move for some time no stories now okay especially when I back to property and ba no as obano utia very very painful yeah omo bahanu mu say na omo ayajuma oh Bama no meye property ewo Ghana obani fi say bibia you okay for some time until me to kwan ko Ghana and konko hese bibia you okay by the time obenya ho obekono either there's no property and our property in the demo or property no to me got name because ne bus ni kunwa busia for ne go basana nyame nka nipa ho a na manipa abrabo ayabasa obasa as a mother abrabo ayabasa na affect children and the properties you have something very very it's me say abrabo it's me say life it's me kum nipa and see when and conform about it and normal about it the right way and then Paradise City some of the main reasons say to stand there to help people like that into so your bar very flexible depending on the situation, depending on who you are, you basically try as much as possible. So to me bibi abrabo ya bomi because we have to be fruitful. We should Bible more. Abraham, Solomon, all the great men of God, they had something, they had properties. It's not a sin, and you have to grow, you have to prosper. And as Nyamebano, I was so timid proverb man, I say a good man leaves inheritance for his children. And she said, well, we now call not to na eka na send it because one more black Bobby brown, one more bright, and most of the time they what causes argument, what causes all these, fights to kwana related to properties. And she said, in the beginning, why mistake Rana say you will have a chance to do it right. Now I am right. Even if it's just for the sake of the children. You're dealing very confidential. You're dealing, basically, we will advise you as best as we can. Now I show quite a way to me so I've always said any be able who die it's me because how do they know? Now on what's to die kakran bibinia na say nyame pengu onim about even this issue, this twins issue we are working. Now say onim about it. Now man unko hono more than cry. You've got the basics what Japadi Pohonoma. In the meantime, now I was a more baby now, and your friend also knew how a baby can't or that game. And so, going for properties, looking for what baby sano. I am my concentrate to my say there are some essential part of it are necessary to abrabo. It's I will say you consider all that, in relation to immigration. Say with immigration. I said other ones they say you are not living the abundant life now. You may say living
Okay, thank you very much. So the number also be to if someone is interested in finding out more information, the person can then contact you.
But your number plus 44 333 011 7724 plus 44 333 011 7724. But your mobile say a plus 44 790 847 5802 plus 44 790 847 5802. Thank you, that's it.
Okay, thank you very, very, very much. All those people watching and listening to us. If you need to get in touch with Paradise City, that is the number. Also, you can go to their website, which is www.paradisecityghghana.com. You can also visit the website and you have a lot of information there that is also very, very informative and it's very, very helpful. You can go there and get a lot of information. By all means, do so. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Me I wanting to my be 2 minutes why na yentimi emi I wanting to na or question biana also what me idea ebusa. Na me say before say e be amana 2 minutes about some weeks ago. Me say me bo edin bi wa ha Marcus Bempon. Where madam for ono so we free mu. Tuesday ana ye na ye na because of COVID-19 no I must say that everything is being done through Zoom. Na me the new Facebook page na ato hanamo. Okon ma I should abusua ye nyina e wo honom. Se de enema change obi wu ayemfa ne nkofie straight from the funeral home to the cemetery near see no next watcha. Into no say no body no is on display. Opese wo hwa you can still go and view the body physically if you want to. And yes, not just Tuesday about 10 o'clock, between 10 and 11. And on a Susune, on best starting. And no, because of technology in tea, say BBI easy kakra, okohon ma ebo ni Facebook arrangement in ewo Facebook. Na me nim se enkrofo nim ne sa mbeka ho asem enkrofo bibra frame me say oh miss me nim no na omunim se bio we free mu mpo. But you see Facebook at that room, any modern technology at that room, the way we do things, it has changed big time. And it's in the body, is on display at the funeral home. We wait in your free, no book appointment, a maximum of 6. We can go and show your last respect. On Tuesday, a year or so, whereby you go to, you can Zoom, you have to join the Zoom to see the funeral, everything. You can sit at the back of your, in your home, in your office, and basically join in and see what is happening. Okohonma Zoom account number, and I say login number, no any password, ni Facebook or ubitimi ID, any details, enti adofo, ubitimi almost high get fund. No so no usubitimi ID. I show respect and support to the family. Need information or the Facebook website or more. Enti yedamasepa sebi asembe nipa neka. Edipa so ni wu a edipa de sie no sana etie enti no mombeboa ebusua na ebusuafo no so entimi enye de enko omenim enti yedamase obi a otie ye bia sese mi bia amatrofo notum. The lines are now activated. You can call in. The number to call is 07538 969 589, and you be line out for about 10 minutes because my break kakra na miss me kwajima home kakra na che say menya holding there other things. And you be so afraid, this is the time to call. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
You are live on Facebook.
Okay, me pasho me pese me bisa say me ba has in my indefinite by settlement stream one. One say you worry you now the app we know the buyer no.
That's right.
Now the buyer no more the letter the buyer o man post the ID no. Now almost say in some days we no be receive the ID by me friend almost say a paper one. Into this I may apply, but I will apply since the £250. And you know may apply. I mean last year 2019 February. Yeah, something like that. 2019 February or 2019 February in 1 year. And almost when 1 year ultimate register for naturalization. I'm person find out say me buy no. Me yes no me December 2012. Into me nyanya me buy ni na me nyanya neema no. In this case, make me naturalize the British nana.
The answer ebe no. Adentina eye no. Eye no say unse oba na wutim illegally from what you are saying, if I'm correct. And wutim illegally now been 5 years. Now your friend is saying after you person ko naturalize, you ko British citizenship. Yeah, fam because I'm running say if you be character test, you must be able to pass the character test. Character test, they say, at the time of the application, you must not have been in breach of the immigration rules for the past 10 years.
Okay.
And therefore, say, submit the application now. Case worker from 2010 up to 2020. Webu immigration law nesodana. If the answer is yes, application will be refused on the character test. And now I would suggest to say count from the first time I did this animal for 10 years and then you apply. And if, for example, say the visa animal 2014, then you have to wait till 2024, exactly 10 years, make the application for naturalization.
I show more the mommy 2016. But because of sending my worry EU, I made my application 2014. Or if you see me after 2016. 2016, and I Mensaka ID no, but 2019 and I almost indefinite. I'm not been try 2 years because me at the time I'm the worry EU family member no. That means me 5 years also. And I almost me indefinite no. And that means I should count it from that me worry EU ni nana. Okay,
I would suggest to say count it from time what the application from 2014.
Okay.
And no, there is exception in the law. As a time I don't who bet you know. Until you who be married for 10 years now for home coach. The time I do application you call you know. And no, you have submitted yourself to the attention. Until therefore, no, all country free are within the rules and you'll be okay.
Okay.
Why?
Okay, Matrimonial.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Also so ubetimi afre the number near 07538969589. About 35 past 135 year finish program no na yet me I dey acquire other things. And it's also person ofra ubetimi afre. Even be so ja messages na messages amount for being na message na so ye dey e kosro timi hunu so ye. Mr. Ishan.
Hello.
What about you do on?
Yeah.
Kasakakra. And again, what do you have for us today?
Yeah. The last is what friends said. Then church, I am brutal. Now, yeah, that's to say what my set such information with that brain. Now, about boy in a Ghana for no ne. Amanamani na yamen count. Yeah, that's the brain. Never kakakra for whom ye Amway. A predator, yawo, nani yoma, sunkwa yawo. Yawo Amway I cook. On and then per se, ya church who kakra just some few minutes. Yawo be brave, but yawo ni sections, in other words, different types. Yawo ni aya 10. Yawo ni aya 16. Yawo ni aya 27 set of I cook. Na aya one say save energy. That's the first one. One, it means save energy. Say we use burn and emphasis electric and I say gas. Obey me, I got a system. Therefore, in only one burner, they're going to make it at the same time, simultaneously. I want one is not being at the same time. Instead of say other three burners and I say 5 burners now, only one burner, which be the near number 4. That's just a way to be the rest of the burners, and in other words, you know, just a way to. Let us say to Abua or else no name Adima Akufo. Apart from that, so I had a we did a Diana kitchen for the Sokituabi, now with the near. And yes, so be most of the time, limited. I will be also so every egg and as a chifua. You try say, you do so, Aboso, but. Egg in Akoba, or finding silly Akoba egg. You know, a waste of in the way you say ingredients or egg in Muniadi. And you could just 1 tablespoon. You sure not what we done your egg in 5 minutes. And being correct into a product, and you're durable, very, very strong. Near one scrubbing ourselves with it to move fast and support. Normally, you need to choose. So, in case next year, be I in there. It may last forever. What a bakupe no throughout your life. Into your 1,400 plus, which means a 27 set. You were near 900 plus. Honestly, 16. Now, you were the other one, so 4. There was no special knife, kitchen knife, special. This will tobacco pen one and no. In Kumda and your blunt that a big yarn a sharp, a special. It's a make and flat in my union. No name I didn't come ban on then I say, young woman to be quite fear. So, a very durable. Yeah, then I see. They didn't run more in chance in idea to talk. And then I say, no, producer, I will fancy the form of ice in name. I didn't know. Rain and shake.
They say yeah a bit to me. Now I want one place so be. Unfortunately, we just hope you no there just so. Could you just imagine so about it was a miracle. Yes, and Mama one and she sema